by the devil. Mr. Siegel, were you there with him? Was there anybody there with Jesus when he went into hellfire, or went into hell for 40 days and when tempted by the devil? We just have his word, and you believe. Does anybody believe Mary? When Mary received revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from God, that she would have a son while she was a virgin, was anybody there present when Allah, the angel, came to her, the angel Jibril came to her and delivered this message? Was there any corroborating witnesses? No. But you believe. Was there anybody with Abraham when Abraham was told by Allah to sacrifice his first son? Was anybody there with him to corroborate his story? Did not the wife of Abraham think him to be crazy? There was no corroborating witness, but we believe. And what we find with these things, these examples that I gave you, are that they are foundations of faith. And so it is with Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that his testimony is a foundation of the correct faith given to Adam, consistent unto the last man on the face of the earth, which has proved itself out historically, biblically, scholarly, in any way, shape, or form. So it holds true. If you throw out the fact that Muhammad, you can't trust what he said, then you must throw out the very foundations of your faith. The testimonies of Jesus, the testimonies of Mary, the testimonies of disciples who have never been seen, nor do we know who they are. You see, if you make that analogy, you must throw out your faith completely and put it in the garbage bin of history. But I doubt you would do that. And Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his truth has been proclaimed throughout history, prophecies that come true, and other points and facts that right now are too numerous to go into, but at some point we will. He also says that the Bible was not yet, when I spoke about Dr. Bharti Ehrman, that Dr. Bharti Ehrman in his books state that the early Christians did not even know God. The early Christians, some early Christians believed that there was one God. Some early Christians believed that there were two gods. Some early Christians believed that there were 36 gods. And some early Christians believed that there were 365 gods. Some early Christians debated about who Jesus Christ was. Was he divine? Was he not divine? Was he the Son of God? Was he not the Son of God? Did he die for the sins of men? Was his death salvation for the sins of men? Was it not? Was he adopted by God? Was he fully man or fully God? All these things and all these questions about Jesus Christ, the foundation of the church, the foundation of your faith, and every single one of them, things upon which there should be no interpretation of, things that there should be no argument over, the foundations of your faith, who God is and who Jesus was, who God is and who Jesus was, all these things were heatedly disputed by Christians. Now he states to defend that this happened, yes, but because the Bible was not yet written, but that after it was written, that these problems were overcome, that there was unity in the church, and that there was none of those problems existed. That again is playing loosely with the historical proof. Why? Why did the Pilgrims come to the United States of America? What were they seeking? They were seeking religious freedom from who? From Muslims? They were seeking religious freedom from from Christians. Stating what? That they were still at the time, at 1492, whenever, after that, when this country and the Pilgrims claimed, that there was still friction, and still dissension, and still misinterpretation, and still arguing of the context of the Bible and how the Christian faith is to be interpreted. Still then. After that, you had the edicts by Constantine, where people were ripped open and killed, because still, even after the Bible was written down, and after the different councils of Nicaea and the different councils where stuff was written down, and where the Bible was now formulated, there was still tremendous dissension within the Christian church as to what it had believed. The Quakers, another example. Today, as we look at today, Mormons disagree with the fundamental teachings of Christianity. Jehovah's Witnesses disagree. Christadelphians disagree. Lutherans disagree. Episcopalians disagree. Even today, you are still arguing over the same thing, except you're not killing yourselves like you did before. Protestants, the whole thing of Protestants became what? To protest what? They became Protestants and protesting. What is Calvinism? What are these all other things? Still, to this day, after the Bible was being revealed, still there is no consensus and arguing. Protestants and Catholics killing themselves in Ireland for over 300 years. So even afterwards, the Inquisition, the 30-year war in Europe, the 100-year war, religiously based, the wars of the popes, religiously based because they could not come to any understanding, any agreement on the Bible itself. And to this day, it still holds true. So his statement is hilariously wrong. He addresses Mary's problems. When I spoke about Mary, may the God's peace and blessings be upon her, Mariam, that I spoke that Mary, having received 2 miracles from God, doubted. She was a virgin who received miracles from God. And fulfillment of miracle. As a virgin, she had a baby. That's a tremendous miracle. And I stated that she doubted. He says that Mary doubted when the angel Gabriel appeared to her, and yet she had it up. She said, how can I have a son when no man has touched me? That's not the doubt that I'm addressing. The doubt that I'm addressing is when she and Judas and James came to get Jesus at the Sermon of the Mount. According to the biblical text, they had thought that Jesus Christ had lost his mind. If she believed and she had these miracles, in which we believe that she did as Muslims, as an article of faith, then she surely would teach her sons Judas and James that Jesus Christ is God, or that he is the Son of God. She would have related to her sons the miracle of Jesus Christ's birth, and she would have told them that he is the Son of God, or God himself. But there is no such teaching within the Bible. That's the doubt that I'm talking about. So much so that James formed the Church of Jerusalem. The Church of Jerusalem. James, Peter, and Barnabas formed the Eastern Church, and the Church of Jerusalem did not. Now this is the brother of Jesus. The brother of Jesus states in the Didache, which can be found today in the Greek Quarter of Jerusalem, the oldest manuscript of the Bible of James, makes no mention of Jesus Christ being God, no mention of Jesus Christ being the Son of God, no mention of Jesus Christ's crucifixion, no mention of Jesus Christ dying for the salvation and sins of men. None of that. It mentions that Jesus was a prophet of God, a chosen prophet of God. That's what it states. And that's the doubt that I'm talking about. Not that Mary doubted the angel Gabriel. Now, when it comes to the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, we could go into that at another point. I thought, again, I will state that this debate was about the crucifixion of Jesus Christ, but it was not. I got into Suetonius, Tacitus. I got into Josephus. I got into other writers who were at the time of Jesus Christ, who do not mention Jesus Christ or the crucifixion, nor the miracle of the crucifixion, the earthquakes, the rising of the dead, going into Jerusalem, the 500. Not even any mention. There is absolutely also no mention of Jesus Christ within any of the records of the Romans. The Romans, who were the most meticulous record keepers of that time, who made mention of robbers and thieves and enemies of the state, wrote records about them in their, as far as being crucified, make no mention at all of Jesus Christ. Not only that, the soldiers who were there at the time of the crucifixion, at the place of the supposed crucifixion, none of them write home to Rome. Now remember, not all the soldiers could write, but prefects, tribunes, and officers of the Roman army could write. They were educated, and they could write, but there's not a mention of any writings back to Rome, or any stories of these men back to Rome telling them that they had witnessed God being crucified. Imagine that. God being crucified, or the Son of God being crucified. You see nothing where Vito says, yeah, mamma mia, I was there in Jerusalem, all of a sudden they put this man on the cross. And when they put him on the cross, he says, oh my Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And then we stab him, and he puts his head down, and we say, oh, this man, he's dead. But how can he be dead? He's only been on the cross for 3 days. You see this man right here, he's been on the cross